All right, welcome back to a episode of GT's Exhaust Shop. My name is Tyler, and we're kind of switching up this channel a little bit. It's gone through a couple iterations. If you follow along, if not, then welcome to GT's Exhaust Shop. Just kind of follows whatever my current hobby is. It seems to change every week. With that being said, this video is going to be preparing for the Redwood Rally. If you're not familiar with the Redwood Rally, what it does is we start in Medford and then do it's what's called a drag and drive. So you drag down the track, right? Do a drag run, drag pass, whatever, and then drive to the next destination. The Redwood Rally is based in Oregon. So we start in Medford, do a run, and then go to Coos Bay. Again, do a run. They're all on different days. Coos Bay, and then after that we go to after Coos Bay we go to Woodburn, and then after Woodburn we go to Madras, Oregon, and then back to Medford. So, and again, at each destination we do a pass down the track. And with that being said, they also don't just have you drive straight there, because that would be boring. And so what they do is they add checkpoints that make you drive the long route. So in this case, like I'm going to just use the first stretch for example. From Medford, we actually have to go to Brookings first, which there's going to be a checkpoint in Brookings, and then to Coos Bay. So if you're familiar with Oregon, it would take from Medford to Coos Bay, it would usually take like 2.5, 3 hours. The way we're going is probably going to take like anywhere from 5 to 7. So it's going to be quite a drive. Just lots of curvy coastal roads. It'll be a great drive, which I'm very excited for. It starts on Monday, and Monday's a tech day. Tuesday is like first official race day in Medford, and then it ends on Saturday back in Medford. So it lasts about a week long, and I think the total mileage is going to be somewhere around like the 800 mile mark. So it's going to be a lot of miles on our car, and I am absolutely ecstatic about going. And I'm guessing you guys could not make a guess on what I am driving, and I guess it's time to show you. It is my vintage or classic Morris Mini Cooper. So this is actually titled as a 1992 Mini, and someone in Japan is where it was imported from. That's why it's right-hand drive. The camera's not playing any tricks on you. Someone in Japan did a conversion on this to make it look like a Mark I, which would be from like 59 to 67. So when non-car enthusiasts or non-mini people ask, I usually tell them it's a 67 because that's what it looks like. But you know what? I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's titled as a 92. There's some key identifiers here. We got exterior door hinges. We got a Mark I dash you can see there. And then also the small tail lights, which we'll make our way back to. And like the spotlight and stuff like that. A key identifier is telling you that it's not a Mark I though, is there's a roll down window here. Mark I's had a sliding window. So obviously it's kind of, if you're a mini enthusiast, you look at it and kind of, look at it with some confusion, because it's like, what is this thing? Is it a Mark I because it has exterior door hinges and the right taillights? Or is it a late model? So with that being said, this is my drag and drive car. Me and a friend are going to be riding in this thing for the 800-ish miles, and I've been preparing for the Redwood Rally for a couple months now. So with that being said, I'll go over a few things I did to the car just before I got it. So first things, it didn't have fender flares on it until I got my hands and butchered the car. I felt bad, making it so the car had fender flares because it's kind of hard to find minis without fender flares these days. And then let's see, put fender flares on, obviously changed the wheels and tires out to something with a little bit more offset so it fits better under the flared fender. Those are actually 6-inch wide wheels. And then suspension wise, it does have high lows on it. It came with those, so I went ahead and lowered the car a little bit. It was too low and raised it back up a little bit. So this is kind of the current ride height. I need to drive it and see if I like it. With that being said too, I did in the front end do new wheel bearings and ball joints, new shocks. I feel like there's something, and then also rebuilt the CV axles. So just got that all dialed in. The rears, again, new shocks, nothing else there. Let's see. I did do a entirely new interior in it. These are the Cobra Classic seats, so it's going to be like a little bit more advanced bucket. And then I wanted to match the door panels. It was already a red interior, so I had my upholstery guy do red and then houndstooth in the center because I am not rich enough for a Porsche, and I want a Porsche. So I guess we'll just call this my poor man's Porsche, which is not even close. Back seat you can see is also done to match, but I love the way the interior turned out. I think it turned out great. We redid a bunch of the dash stuff. You can see it's got Smith's Magnolia gauges in it. Those were in it when I bought it. I did change some out though. We can go there in a second. I'll show you why I changed them out. Okay, now that we're under the hood, I can show you obviously the changes that we made here. The big obvious change is we added one of those screaming snails on there. That is a GT15 turbo. That turbo is commonly used in like side-by-side applications and stuff like that, which makes sense because most side-by-sides are around the 1000 cc mark, and this is a 1275 cc engine. It started life as a 1.3 liter injected motor, SPI, single port injection is what that's called. And I converted it to a carburetor, which I know sounds weird. Why would you go carburetor if you have fuel injection? That SPI can't handle fuel injection, or sorry, can't handle boost. So you go to a blow through carburetor style. To make room for the turbo, we went to a manual brake setup. And then another big modification that I did was replace the whole wiring harness. I wanted to get rid of the SPI wiring harness and go to, this is a Mark II wiring harness. So this is meant for like a 68-ish Mini, I think, if I remember correctly. And you can see it just cleans up the whole engine bay, makes the engine bay look a lot simpler. We did oversized radiator. You can see it takes up every inch of that room. And fuel pressure regulator obviously was added. So we gotta have good fuel pressure for the turbo. Let's see, for heat management, we did wrap headers and wrap the downpipe and whatnot. You can see that in there. So yeah, that's my Mini. I will take you inside and show you the gauges real quick too. We swapped one of the Smith gauges. We had an oil pressure and a water temperature gauge. We swapped it out for a split gauge so we could make room for a AFR gauge. Now you're gonna say, ew, doesn't match. That's exactly how I feel too. When I get back from my trip, my plan is to send that gauge off to have a custom back, the Smith's Magnolia backing made for it. We'll change the needle color to black and then also change the light in the gauge to warm white so it's not that ugly green color, and it all matches the car. So another preparation that I did for the rally, we obviously have a roof rack. I had a buddy weld this up for me. It was kind of a rush job, so it didn't turn out exactly the way I wanted. You can see the front arm is much shorter than the rear arm, so it kind of has this in the dirt bike world, we call that a stink bug look about it, or I call it like a roof rack for a PT Cruiser, right? Because they're sloped forward. So yeah, with that being said, that's where we're at. Now, to get into the main part, I guess, of the video, because I've been ranting for so long, the blue tape is what we have left to do on the car. I'm sure there's other things that I'm missing, but that's what we have left to do on the car before it's time to go for the rally. So I'm just going to run through it because you guys probably won't be able to read my ugly handwriting. The first one is balance and mount the wheels. The second one is tune the carburetor and perfect the AFRs. And then after that, we need to shorten one of the seat sliders, the passenger seat. The seats can't fold forward with those aftermarket ones, so we're going to make it so they can. And then remount that as well. Let's see, we're missing a stud in the passenger door, one of the hinges. So I want to make sure and get that fixed so the door doesn't fall off at some point. And then prep our spare fuel can to take fuel. And we need to make a block off plate for, I said behind the Speedo, but it'd also be next to the car. These cars are kind of funny. They have just a wide open hole right behind the carburetor. And that, what you're looking at, goes behind the dash. I mean, that's like my Speedo wiring and all that kind of stuff. So you obviously get fumes from that and a lot of noise. So my plan was to make some sort of block off plate to block that out and eliminate some of that, hopefully. And then Last couple things, I do want to relash the valves. They started making a little bit of noise, and I think it's just time for a new relash. I think the turbo, honestly, I think it just throws them out a little bit faster than what they should, because it seems like if you do a couple real hard pulls on it, they start making a little bit of noise. Last couple things, we're going to add some sound deadening to the firewall, like right below your feet, just because I think that might help out and make the drive a little bit more comfortable for us. And then aim headlights and fix the chrome ring. So I'll show you what I'm talking about with that. Headlights, obviously, I think are aimed a little high right now, so I need to wait till nighttime and get those aimed correctly. And then whoever put these back on didn't do a very good job, because this chrome ring rattles while you're going down the road. So yeah, that's what we have to do. I guess like let's just get started. We need to, today is Thursday and we leave on Tuesday. So, but I have to be at the track with the car ready Monday. So with that being said, I have, let's see, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, eliminate Saturday because I'm gone that day. I have 3 days to finish the car and make sure it is completely dialed for a 800-mile drive. All right, let's get into it. Okay, as you can see, I got the carpet, and there is another like little sound deadening piece in here that I got removed. The next thing I think I just want to take out, I mean, this stuff's like, it looks like carpeting for the bottom of like underneath carpet padding, you know, in a house. So basically, hopefully you guys can see some of this. Just gonna take a razor blade. It goes under this carpet, which someone glued down. So I'm gonna go ahead and probably just cut out most of this and try to just leave a little extra just for the carpet to actually sit on, the carpet kit. So I'll just do that. And that should come right out. Looks good. And then go to the other side. Throw all that out of there. Okay, so it's all removed. Okay, as you can see here, I do have the sound deadening kind of fairly laid out. Try to get you a little bit better idea. So I just placed it there. Obviously, I'll need to cut this corner and probably go further up underneath the dash. Sorry, you can't see that. But yeah, so we'll try to get up there. And then probably go up as far as I can. Last night, I did install the dash pad that you see right behind the Speedo, so right here. And I did put sound deadening behind that as well, just to, again, to help out. So the plan is, I think, just sound deaden as much as the car up here as possible and just try to get this thing to ride as quiet as possible down the road. And also, yeah, I guess just eliminate some of the engine noise. Engine noise is pretty loud in these cars, so I think anything really helps. All right, we are back in the garage. It's a new day from yesterday. Next thing I wanted to cross off on the checklist was to rinse the fuel can out and also make the block off plate for behind the Speedo, which I went ahead and did. This is actually 3D printed. It's kind of just like another little hobby of mine, and it's nice because I can 3D print car parts. So with that being said, what we're gonna do is we are going to get the charge pipe removed, and that should give us enough access to access that back panel there. And then we'll test fit and make sure it fits. Okay, so here's where we're at with the block off plate. I did do the Dynamat on it, the soundproofing. Hoping to help out. It's not gonna obviously seal perfect with these big holes. I'd have to do something else, like add a rubber sealant or grommet and redo the wiring harness, and I'm not gonna do all that. So basically these holes obviously are just cutouts for the wiring harness, and then like oil and water lines and stuff like that to go to the gauges. And yeah, it does fit. So it's kind of a two-hand process. I'll get it in and get it put back together. All right, so it's, I don't even know, I'm losing track. Later in the day, life goes, you know, work, family, all that kind of stuff. And now the next couple things we got to do is tune the carburetor, shorten the seat mounts, fix passenger door latch valves, and aim headlights. So I decided to knock out the seat sliders. This is the seat slider. Try to put it up against the car so you can see it. We measured it 2 3/4 inches, and with that being said, we'll just cut out that center section, and then I might see if I can find a little piece of pipe to put in between and then weld it. That way I'm welding a little bit thicker material because this stuff is insanely thin and I don't have a TIG setup, I only have MIG. So we might have to lay some boogers down on this. Okay, next update. Here is where we are at. You can see the handle on the driver's seat. My wrenches are there, so it's kind of gives it this handle right here and how far it sticks out from the seat. In the video, it probably doesn't look bad, but like it's so obvious. And the other obviously thing that happens, I 3D printed these cup holders, custom designed them and 3D printed them. It makes you lose your cup holder because you can see it's just right above the cup holder. Obviously I fix that, slide the seat back, but then maybe you couldn't reach the pedals or whatnot. So what I was trying to do on this side was make it so the seat could pivot forward, because the issue is on this one, you can see it hits the cup holder, and I was thinking, oh, if I get rid of the handle, it would fix that problem, or change the handle so it scoots way back here. This is the handle now. To scoot the seat forward and back, I cut it 2 and 3/4 inches, I want to say, back. So that obviously fixed that issue. But then the next issue I ran into was this part of the seat slider runs into the seat extension. So the obvious solution is just move the seat forward. Well, by moving the seat forward, I lose the passenger cup holder, but I gain being able to lift the seat all the way up and actually have great access to the back seat. Now, you might be wondering, Tyler, how many people are going on this road trip? It's just 2 total in the car, so front and driver and passenger seat. But our stuff will be in the back. So that's kind of my thought process, was like, oh, if our stuff's gonna be in the back, I could at least have 1 folding seat forward, just to be able to get our stuff. If it falls on the floor or whatever, it'll be easier to grab. But the downside is if I have it that way, 1, now I have these big ugly brackets sticking out, the seat sliders, because it slid so far back. That's actually the seat slider that you're seeing. And 2, the passenger would lose their cup holder. Now I could probably 3D print a new one to mitigate that problem, but what's gonna happen is I have to move the cup holder way up here by the shifter, which it doesn't look bad there, but I think it would not be sturdy. I think at that point I would need to secure it to this center where the exhaust runs, which I don't really love that idea. So I really like where the cup holders are at now. They're just kind of discreet, but right underneath your legs, and it's easy to grab your drink or whatever you have in there. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I'm just rambling here, but it's a toss-up. It's like, what do? Do you lose the cup holder to gain the seat access that goes to the back, or do you lose the seat folding ability to gain the cup holder and to eliminate these big ugly things sticking out? So I think for the rally, I'm gonna just move the seat back to its original position, put the cup holder back. That way, at least at that point, you get your cup holder and plenty of leg room. I don't think we'll be lifting up the seats too often, so mainly the only thing that's going to be in the back seat is going to be like our backpacks that we have for clothes and stuff. All the tools will be in the trunk, and then of course we have the roof rack that's going to hold the tires and whatnot. So yeah, that's where we're at. Decisions. If you have a better idea, drop it in the comments so I can figure this out. Okay, we're coming back to this seat real quick. You can see the difference now. You can see how the bar is pretty much tucked under the seat, the way it should have come from the factory. So that's obviously the way it is right now. And this way, this is with the original mounting slots and the cup holder back installed. So now we're just gonna chop the driver's seat down and we're good to go. All right, so we have our seat brackets. I think you might be able to see them up there. Drying right now. I threw some paint on them because obviously they had a little rough spot in there from cutting it and welding it together to shorten it. So the next thing I'm gonna move on to is lashing the valves and just topping it off with oil just to make sure that's all good. I did do the axle, rebuild the CVs recently, and you lose a little bit of oil in that process, and I haven't topped it off since then. I think it's maybe at half quart low or something. So we'll get started on lashing the valves. I guess first things we should do is probably take the spark plugs out just so it we relieve some of the compression on the engine. We'll try to leave our plug wires in order so I don't have to figure that out later. I'm kind of curious what the plugs are going to look like anyways. I've been driving it for a while on this current tune and it's really lean up top, so I haven't really been revving it past like 3,500 RPM. That looks great. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see that. Try to get out of frame so it focuses. Maybe not. But it's I would say probably a little on the rich side. It's pretty golden brown though. So I think honestly we're looking pretty good on that circuit as far as cruising, RPM and stuff. I've driven it around a handful of times and you know, a few miles here and there, and I'm really stoked with how these plugs look because I had it pretty rich before, and obviously we wanted to lean it out because I was going through an insane amount of fuel. It was so rich, just pig fat. So another one, I don't know, again, if you're gonna be able to see that. Let's see if we can do this old trick. There you go. Looks pretty good. These plugs, like I said, were very rich at one time. So it's probably not the best thing to go off of, but I'm very happy with that compared to what it was. All right, we have the rocker arms in here. These are the 1.5 roller rockers from Mini Sport. So they give you obviously a little bit more valve lift, and then basically where we're at is we'll have to bump the engine over a few times. Typically with minis, you use the what's called the rule of 9. So if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then you'd want to adjust the 9th one. So, or sorry, whatever adds up to the number 9. So you'd go, if this is 1 and this is 8, 8 plus what equals 9, 1. So that's valve 1. So since this one's compressed, I can adjust this valve. Since this would be 6, or so, yeah, 6, then I could also adjust valve 3 because 6 plus 3 equals 9. So kind of a cool little thing for minis. The other thing that a friend of mine taught me was usually you want to go opposite. So basically compress this valve, adjust this one, and then compress this one, adjust this one, and then just keep working your way towards the center. If you think about that, that actually works off the same rule as the rule of 9, because if this is 1 and 8, that equals 9. If this is 2 and 7, that equals 9. 3 and 6, you know, and so on. It all equals 9. So it kind of works off the same rule. The benefit to doing the rule of 9 is you can adjust 2 valves at the same time. So since these 2 are compressed, I can adjust 1 and 3. So kind of cool. Here's the funny thing. Last time I adjusted valves, I was with my buddy who knows what to adjust the valves to. And I can't get a hold of him right now, so I don't know exactly what to adjust these to. So I looked them up on the internet. They said typically the stock engine I think called for 0.010 or a thousandths, but for an engine that has aftermarket components and like a turbo, they say you want a slightly looser setup. So typically people would go to like a 12th thou valve lash. I feel like when we lashed him, he wanted like 16 thou. So that's why I had a 16 thou out and I was putting it in there to see where we were at. This is a 12. Okay, here is where we are at. So after doing some online research, these tappet arms, whatever you want to call them, rocker arms, whatever you want to call them. There's tappet because it's all British, you know. So they require, it looks like 16 thou, sorry. So 0.016, which is kind of what I remember doing before. So you can see that one's good. And so we're at 1 and then we are at 6. So 1, 2, 3, 6 and 9. And this one is a little tight, but I think we'll take it honestly. This one feels much better. So I'm not going to adjust those. And then next thing we'll do is turn the engine over and try to find the next couple valves. Okay, spun the engine over. I'm gonna point it down a little bit. I put a piece of tape on here just so I didn't forget which ones I checked already. So obviously I crossed out 1 and 3 because I just checked those. Spun the engine. I got 5 to compress. 5 plus 4 equals 9. So we're looking at this one, and this one's actually pretty loose. So I'm actually gonna tighten this one up just a hair. And this one could have been our problem child. So like I said, I did have one making a little bit of noise. Much better. All right, cool. So now we will cross out number 4. Okay, so here is what we did. We got all the valves adjusted and done. So valve cover's going back on. And you can see I got these little quick releases for it. In this engine, we did do ARP head studs. And it came with the roller rockers. So yeah, I guess we just did the ARP head studs. And then, yeah, we'll throw the plugs back in and fire her up, top her off with oil, and fire her up, make sure she's good. Okay, garage door is open, and put a little bit more oil in it. Make sure that dipstick's all the way back down in there. Tighten all the rocker arms, and then tighten the valve cover. So I think we're good to start it. Probably wants a little bit of choke, or all the choke. Oh, it sounds way better. I'm sure it probably sounds like shit on the mic, but okay, you can see we pulled up to a wall here. We got the chrome headlight rings off already, and we're gonna go ahead and adjust our headlight beam. Okay, headlight buckets are secure. So, oh, you can't even see those. Nice and secure so that you don't rattle anymore. And headlights are adjusted. So we can take that off. Valves are lashed. Oil's good. Shortened seat sliders, those are good. I'm just waiting for the paint to dry. And then fixed passenger door, we still have to do that, and tune the carburetor. So those are the only 2 left. Remember that windshield was covered. Now we're looking good. Okay everyone, it is officially Monday, day 0 for the Redwood Rally. I'm actually just gonna close out my entry video, and then I'll probably start a new video today as well. So with that being said, I was able to get everything wrapped up completely. There is no more, well, look at that. There is one more sticker on the windshield, and that's the tune the carb one. And we did get the carb tuned a little further. It's a lot closer, but I will say it's not perfect. And I am just having quite a bit of trouble with getting the richness up top that I need without sacrificing my cruise and all that. So my plan is to correct that, since I won't be able to get it perfect, is when we go on our drives, our cruises themselves, I think what I'll end up doing is giving a slight lean tune to it to get better fuel economy. So hopefully having cruise at 12.5 to 13 would be ideal. And then when I get to the track, I'll turn the fuel screw up, which will give it a lot more fuel. I'll probably have it idle at way too rich, max the AFR gauge out at like 10 idle, but when I go down the track, that should give me a nice like 12.5 AFR, because right now I'm at about 13 or 13 and a half at wide open throttle. So again, a little too lean for my liking with that much timing and boost, under boost pressure and all that. So again, the plan is just turn the fuel screw up when I go down the track, turn it back down for cruising, just so I get better fuel economy. I got the car warming up. I got to run to work and wrap up last few little things, and then after that I got to go back over to my buddy Chris's house and get all of our tools and all that dialed in, because we plan on just sharing everything, that way we don't have to worry about it. So with that being said, the door did get fixed too. I put a helicoil in it, or Chris put a helicoil in it for me and got it all wrapped up. And yeah, that's where we're at. So thanks for watching this video. Look forward to the rest of the videos on the Redwood Rally.